name's Grant Taylor, owner of Valley Wines in Otago. We love this region. It's the prettiest part of the world. I think many of you know that already. And for us it's exciting because it's new and we're just discovering how different the wines are from different parts of this region. It's not different from Burgundy in the fact that our wines are very different depending on where they come from. So we make 4 Pinot Noirs from different regions. Map is very good. We like maps. We make one from Gippsland, one from Bannockburn and Bendigo, which are a little warmer. And for me, and I think also the Japanese people, the very exciting limestone, cool climate soils of the Waitaki Valley. And we just want to make wines that show the place. I hope you enjoy them. Thank you.
I am Jen Parr, the winemaker at Valley. I've been with Valley now for 9 vintages and 8 years. And today we're going to look at the 22 vintage, which we just bottled in the last year. At Valley, we specialize in producing premium wines from 4 growing areas in Otago, both Central Otago and North Otago, the Waitaki Valley. The first area that we started making wine from over 25 years ago was Gippsland. The vines in Gippsland, the Valley of Gippsland, was first planted in the 1980s. Our vineyard was planted in the year 2000. Grant started Valley in 1998, so the 22 vintage of Gippsland is our 25th anniversary. Gippsland is one of the coolest growing areas in Central Otago. Because of that, it is also low yielding, later ripening, which means the grapes have more time to balance everything other than sugar. So with the extra 1 or 2 weeks of hang time, we're usually not accumulating more sugar or alcohol. It's just a time when the harmony of the grape itself is achieved, and you get that real fineness and perfume. So for me, the hallmark of Gippsland wines, Gippsland Pinot Noir in particular, is perfume. It's very fine tannin. There's always a lovely savory character to complement the bright red fruit. They're wines with lots of longevity, lovely beautiful dried herb and savory spice as well. Just a really, really beautiful growing area. The second area where we started to make wine in Central Otago is Bannockburn. Now Bannockburn is a larger growing area with more larger wineries, so the wines are perhaps better known because of the greater volume that is produced. We started making Bannockburn in the year 2001. Bannockburn is a little bit warmer than Gippsland. The first plantings were back in 1991, so the area itself is a little bit younger. In the 90s, the people who came to Central Otago to grow grapes noticed that the original plantings in Gippsland, Alexandra, and Wanaka were in the cooler growing areas. These were all areas that started planting in the 1980s. But the new arrivals recognized that in Cromwell, where we're sitting today, which is sort of the center point of all of the subregions in Central Otago, they were growing cherries and orchard fruit. And they thought, well, if you can grow cherries and orchard fruit, you should be able to grow grapes, and specifically Pinot Noir. So at about that time, many people started to plant in what we call the Cromwell Basin, next to Cromwell Lakeside, and Bannockburn was that first area that was started. For me, Bannockburn wines, the best of them, have a really beautiful silky texture. They're a bit more full-bodied than Gippsland, but that body is of a silky character. The sites we work with in Bannockburn tend to be on the cooler side, so we capture fresh acidity as well as lovely florality in the wines as well, but you'll see a little bit more dark red fruit and a little bit more obvious tannin in the wines. The last area in Central Otago that we started making wine was in Bendigo. We started making Bendigo Pinot Noir in 2010. The area itself was first planted in 1998, so it's the youngest growing area that we work with in Central Otago. In Bendigo, we like to work on elevated terraces because it is the warmest growing area in Central Otago. So by working with grapes planted at altitude, that has a cooling effect. we still see these wines as the most full-bodied, the richest in tannin, and the darkest in fruit, also with a nice savory note to them. But because of the elevation of the vineyards that we work with, you still see freshness, acidity, and lovely fruit purity. And lastly, the North Otago vineyard. Its geographic identity is Waitaki Valley, North Otago. So this is New Zealand's smallest and youngest grape growing area. The first plantings in the Waitaki Valley were in 2000, and Valley Vineyards has been making wine there every year that wine has been made since 2000. What is unique to the Waitaki Valley is the limestone soils. There's only a couple of other areas in New Zealand where these types of soils can be found. In central Otago, we have a semi-continental climate, much like parts of the European grape growing areas. In the Waitaki Valley, we move to maritime. It's about a 30-minute drive to the east coast. So that maritime climate has a cooling effect, but also the proximity to the sea is what gives us this lovely limestone that was born of the weathering of marine fossils. So the wines tend to be edgier, bright, really ethereal types of wines. All of our wines are made with cellaring and aging in mind. Historically, we've seen that the cooler climates of Gippsland and Waitaki seem to age the longest, although I would argue that today, with the vine age in our other central Otago vineyards and with the site selection of working with cooler sites in the warmer areas, all of our wines have tremendous aging potential. But what is wonderful about Otago wines is that whilst we make them with the intention of cellaring, we also know that they will be drunk quite young, not long after bottling, and they have immediate enjoyability as well. And I think that's one of the things that sets New Zealand Pinot Noir, Otago Pinot Noirs in particular, apart from the rest of the world.